Hi, it's Maija here with my end of the year and birthday book haul. I'm going to talk about all the books that I bought in November and December, but I'm going to start with my birthday books since those are the ones that I'm the most excited about. My birthday is at the beginning of December and I bought a bunch of books for myself. So the first stack here is all historical fantasy because that's what I've been feeling like reading lately. So I ordered myself a bunch of those. So the first book in that order was The Creatures of Will and Temper by Molly Tanzer, which is a take on Oscar Wilde's picture of Dorian Gray. So it's set in Victorian London and it focuses on two sisters, the fencer Evadne Gray and her sister, an aspiring art critic called Dorina, who becomes enamored with their uncle's friend, Lady Henrietta Henry Wotton. The biggest reason why I wanted this, apart from it being set in Victorian London and being a take on Dorian Gray, is the gorgeous cover. It's just so beautiful. And the fancy aspect in this seems to be a hidden world of demons. Also in that order I got Masks and Shadows by Stephanie Burgess. This has blurbs from Alia de Bodard and Ellen Kushner, among others. The year is 1779 and Carlo Morelli, the most renowned castrato singer in Europe, has been invited as an honored guest to Esterhazy Palace. Music, magic and blackmail mingle in a plot to assassinate the Habsburg Emperor and Empress. So this one also has a very beautiful cover. It's set in the 1700s. It deals with music and magic. Sounds really good. And the last book in that order is The Beautiful Ones by Silvia Moreno Garcia, which is a fancy of manners book that is inspired by the Belle Epoque. So it's set in a fancy world imitating historical Europe, and there are telepathic abilities in this one. Continuing in the historical fancy vein, I also went to pick up a free book from the bookstore since I had a stamp card full. So I think it's like when you buy 7 paperbacks, you get the 8th one free, or then it's 10, I can't remember. But I had a full one and I had to use it in December. So I went and got another historical fantasy. I got Under the Pendulum Sun, a novel of the Fae by Jeanette Ing. And this is about Victorian missionaries and fae. It is said to be a sort of a gothic novel with beautiful writing. And it also has a beautiful cover. Just look at these two. Ah. Let's move on to the books that other people actually bought for me. So my mother was visiting her sister in town right around near my birthday. So we went together to a bookstore, which we don't get to do that often. And she let me pick books for myself. And the first one I'm really excited to have found there since I thought it was only out in hardcover, and that is The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. I think it starts a series, but I'm not sure. And this is set in Cairo, and there's a con woman who happens to accidentally summon a jinn warrior, and the jinn takes her to a legendary city of brass. And I have only heard good things about this. I'm so looking forward to this. Then she also picked me up a couple of other books. I chose Voyage of the Basilisk by Mary Brennan, the third book in the Memoir by Lady Trent series about the dragon naturalist, also sort of historical fantasy with sort of a fancy equivalent of an English character. And I own the second one and I haven't even read the second one, but I really want the third one. And the final book that I picked for myself was Howard's End by E.M. Forster. I've been wanting to read some more Forster. I have read Maurice and A Room with a View so far, and I think there is an adaptation, a TV series that has just come out or is just coming out, so I'm interested in that one, and also of reading more E.M. Forster. I think Howard's End is the name of the house. It says it's a tale of 3 families at the beginning of the 20th century. There's a rich family, a gentle idealistic family, and a lower middle class family. I really don't know anything about this apart from it being a Forster book. Then on the day of my birthday, the same day that I ordered those first books online, my boyfriend also took me to a comic store and he bought the 3rd volume of The Girl from the Other Side by Nagabe for me. I have talked about the other 2 on my channel. I really like this 3rd one. I have already read it. It's a sort of dark fairy tale-ish manga about this little girl in a world where there are these monsters called outsiders, and there's this really paranoid reaction to the outsider plague, which causes humans to kill each other if they think someone has been infected. But it's also a very calm and beautiful tale about the relationship of the little girl and this one outsider she calls teacher. So let's move on from my birthday book haul The next two books are Christmas gifts of sorts. My sister gave me a gift card to Amazon so I can pick up ebooks that I want. And on Christmas Eve, I already picked two. We celebrate on Christmas Eve here in Finland, so we also give the gifts on Christmas Eve. And the books that I knew that I wanted to pick up instantly were Clockwork Boys by T. Kingfisher. This is Clocktor War Book 1. So I think this was planned to be one book, but then it got so long that T. Kingfisher, aka Ursula Vernon, wanted to split it into two parts, at least two parts. I have no idea what this is about. It's a fancy book with perhaps steampunk elements. I have read everything that Ursula Vernon has written under the name T. Kingfisher, and I have liked pretty much all of the books, so I just wanted to pick her newest one up. And I also picked up A Long Day in Litchford by Paul Cornell, which is a novella about witches set in the modern day. And this is set right around Brexit, the Brexit vote, I think. This is the third in this novella series, and I actually bought last Christmas, I bought the second one with a gift card from my sister as well, so I thought it would be a good tradition to buy the third one. Next there was the end of the year Comixology sale, which I think is still ongoing, and I had to go and pick up a couple of comics in series that I had read the first volume of, that I have talked about on my channel this year. And the first thing that I picked up was Jonesy Volume 2 by Sam Humphries and Caitlin Rose Boyle. This is a super fun, comical, contemporary comic with fantastical elements about Jonesy, who has the power to make people fall in love with ideas and things, just not herself. And I immediately read this one. I bought this on Christmas Day. It was about like €3. I read it and then I was like, I want the next one. There was a great cliffhanger at the end. I want to know what happened next. And that day I also picked up the second volume of Space Battle Lunchtime, which is an all-ages comic about this chef called Peony who gets transferred to outer space to take part in this cooking competition, which turns really dangerous in this second volume. And this is a mini comic, so this was the second and final part. So I've read those two already. And since Jonesy ended in a cliffhanger, I wanted to go and buy the third one as well. And the next day, so on the 26th, I bought Jonesy Volume 3, which apparently it turns out is the final volume. I didn't know it was the final volume, and I didn't really have the right attitude. When I finished, I was like, it's over now? But I want more. And because I was there to pick up Jonesy, I also ended up picking up Misfit City Volume 1. So this is by Kirsten Smith, Kurt Lustgarten, and Naomi Frankies. And this is a contemporary comic, I think, which features around this group of girls, and it's inspired by the Goonies. So it's the Goonies, but with all girls, and they're also a bit older than the Goonies are. It's set in this rural city where these girls live, and the only claim to fame that the city has is that this youth movie called The Gloomies was filmed there. I already read the first issue from this, and in that one they discover a treasure map. I think the author of this is one of the scriptwriters of Legally Blonde. I have talked for so long already, and I still have all of the books that I have borrowed and all of the ebooks that I have bought left. So let's move this along. From the library I got Princess Jellyfish Volume 5 by Akiko Higashimura, which is a hilarious and moving contemporary manga about a bunch of geek girls and about fashion, and it's good. I haven't read the fifth one yet, but I loved all the other ones. And then my friend loaned me a couple of books. The first is Orden in Lapsi by Siri Pettersen, who is a Norwegian author, and this is the Finnish translation of her Raven Rings trilogy. The title means Odin's Child. This hasn't been translated to English, so I'm just going to quickly say that this is set in a world where I think people have tails, because the main character is 15 and she hears that she is a human, Odin's child, a tailless creature from another world. Then she also loaned me a fancy book that I had never heard of. This is Aurora Rama by Jean-Christophe Valtat. I think it's Valtat. And this is the first book in the steampunk trilogy, The Mysteries of New Venice. New Venice, the pearl of the Arctic, a place of sparkling frozen canals and gorgeous architecture laced in ice, of elegant sleighs and ingenious technology, also of extreme cold, food shortages and drug problems, secret police, anarchist terrorism, snow cane gangsters, and the occasional phantom. In short, a place where bad things happen after dark. The thing is, it's dark all the time. I had never heard about this one. It seems to have come out in... The copyright is 2010, was it? Yeah, 2010. Have you heard about this? A steampunk fantasy set in the Arctic? Sounds good. It says that it's perhaps what Jules Verne would write if woken from the dead and offered a dose of mushrooms. So I'm going to quickly go through the ebooks that I bought in November. I bought The Prey of Gods because it was on sale and I needed to buy it for a buddy read that I did with Jerry. And I'm glad that I ordered the ebook because at first I had planned to order it together with my birthday book haul, and it got stalled in the Christmas mail, and I didn't get it until the week of Christmas, so I couldn't have done the buddy read if I hadn't found the ebook on sale. This is a science fiction and fantasy mashup set in South Africa about gods and robots with AI and magical powers and everything. Likewise, from a Comixology sale. These are all from a sale because I had planned not to buy anything in November because I bought so much in October. But when things that I really want are on sale, and it was the end of the month, I just went and picked them up for a couple of euros. This is the Secret Wars Runaways arc for the Battle World Runaways by Noel Stevenson and Sanford Green. The only original member of Runaways in this is Molly. Then there's teenage versions of other Marvel characters. There's also a humble bundle of science fiction and fantasy books, and I bought the first tier, which was only €1, because I wanted Nalo Hopkinson's Falling in Love with Hominids. I haven't read anything from Hopkinson before, so I wanted to start with her short stories. And then in that tier there were about 5 books, but I only downloaded Falling in Love with Hominids, and then this one, which is Wicked Wonders by Ellen Clage, which seems to be fairy tale-ish short stories. So that was the one that I was interested in from the bunch. I just bought it for the Hopkinson book. I also requested my first ever review copy in November. That is for Prime Meridian, the novella by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I got this from NetGalley, and I have already read this, so look out for the review. It's a science fiction set in near future Mexico City, and the character works in low-paying jobs, and she really wants to get to Mars. And because I was on a Silvia Moreno Garcia kick, even though I haven't read any of her novels yet, I also picked up Love and Other Poisons, which is her short story collection, because it was available for free as an ebook. And then on the 1st of November, I think this was a Kindle Daily deal, I picked up a romance book. Yes, The Goblins of Bellwater by Molly Ringle. This is a romance novel with fantastical elements, the goblins, based on Christina Rossetti's poem, The Goblin Market. I have heard that it is leaning more on the romance than the fantasy, so I don't know what I'm going to think about this, but I still picked it up. I think The Goblin Market would be great for reimagining a lesbian romance if you just change the women away from being sisters. But I think in this one there is a male love interest for both of the sisters. But anyway, I am excited to try out a bit more of a romancy book. I don't usually read those. To be honest, again, the cover was a great incentive. And it was only €1. But we have reached the end of this book haul. This took a lot longer than I expected. But anyway, my TBR shelf is now overflowing with my birthday books, and the books that I bought in October I will have plenty of reading, and I do have a lot of older TBR books as well, but I will tackle those in 2018. I did also take part in the BookTube SFF gift exchange, so I will be getting, I think, 2 books in the mail sometime. I didn't get them before Christmas, I think they are stuck like in the Christmas mail traffic. So I will get them sometime. Maybe I will do an unboxing in a Friday Reads or something. I think I'll be getting 2 books, and I have no idea what they are, even though I can sort of guess one, because I know who the person is who chose the books. So I think I'm guessing one, but we'll see. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this long-ass book haul, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.